Hey everyone. Now, if your family is anything like mine, the one thing you hate, well, maybe not the one thing, but one thing you hate is dead spots in your Wi-Fi. So if you're looking for a fix for that issue, stick around and we're going to take a look at the Netgear Orbi Wi-Fi Mesh system. As always, we're going to talk about what's included with the product. We're going to go through some of the specs and the features, and then I'll give you my opinion on the product. So, what's included here? This one's pretty simple. You've got your uh, two routers. You have your main router, and then you have your satellite. Got a couple of power adapters and one Ethernet cable and a quick start guide. So what's included is pretty much what you'd expect, a couple of routers. As far as the specs and the features are concerned, this one here, the RBK40, does have a tri-band Wi-Fi and it's AC 2200, so it is built for speed, that's for sure. The main router has several Ethernet ports, so you've got your in from your modem. You've got three outputs, so plenty of options for what you're going to connect to if you have anything hardwired, such as maybe a PS4 or whatever the case may be. And then you just got a couple of on-off buttons and a reset and a sync. So that is, for the most part, what you get with these. Now, they are Alexa supported, so if you have an Alexa, you have an Echo Dot or whatever the case may be, then you can download the Netgear Orbi skill and you can do things such as turn on the guest Wi-Fi, which I have an Alexa, but I haven't downloaded that skill to kind of play with it. So I'm not sure if there's a lot more you can do with it than just turn on guest Wi-Fi or maybe turn off Wi-Fi in general. But maybe something to look into if that voice command is something that you would find useful. So before I really get into kind of my opinion on the Orbi, I wanted to talk about why I needed this. And my family has or we have our internet connection service through AT&T Uverse, and as part of that deal, we have a modem that is also a wireless router. Problem is that wireless router is built on very old technology. I think it's still running on N band, so it's not AC or anything like that. And we have our router set up in our living room, which is on the far east wall of our house. And it's great for most applications because that's where we have our TV, of course. It's where we do most of our streaming. The problem is when people are on their devices elsewhere in the house, then depending on who that person is, they could be, 50 feet away from that modem, that wireless router. And with, again, that old technology, connection was a problem specifically for my daughter. And if she was in her bedroom at 45, 50 feet away, the signal was always really weak. Sometimes it was better than others, but regardless, it was an issue and it was something we needed to kind of look at. So I reached out to Netgear and they agreed to send me the Orbi, and I'm glad they did because this thing is amazing. Before we get into the results that I've had with it, I do want to hit on another great feature on the system, and that is the setup. Now, I've had other wireless routers in the past. I have tried the little Wi-Fi extenders you just plug into the wall, and nothing has really been, number one, nothing has really been adequate as far as extending that video signal, but also the setup for those have never been what I would consider to be painless. Some are worse than others. Some are, not great. Some are bad. But nothing has been or ever was as easy as the Netgear Orbi. So setup goes like this. Number one, plug in your main router to your modem. Power this up. Step 2, download the Netgear Orbi app, and that will let you create an account, and that's pretty much it. Step 3 is find somewhere to plug your satellite in, and it has some handy lights on the top to kind of let you know whether or not it's getting a strong enough signal from the main router. But once you have found a spot where that connection is strong enough, you leave that there and you're good to go. Now, as you can see, this one is currently lit up purple because it's not getting a signal, because I did bring our main router in here to show you guys. But generally, when this one is up and running and this one is up and running, those lights go away. So it's a very kind of clean setup. And depending on where you have it, you may not want that light always lighting up the room. So the lights do shut off automatically unless a connection issue arises. Then as you can see, those light back up to kind of let you know that you're having some sort of issue. Now, the Orbi app that you use for setting up the system, it's also great for a lot of other things, such as you can set up or share your guest Wi-Fi. You can view any and all devices that are currently connected to your Orbi system, which comes in handy if somehow someone were able to kind of crack the code and gain access to your system. Then you could just pull up the list of connected devices and see that, okay, something on here doesn't look right. And then you can cut the connection to that device. And that's maybe handy for other applications. If, let's say, you have a child who maybe lost their privileges to their device, then you can go into the Netgear Orbi app, select their phone or tablet, whatever the case may be, and kill the connection temporarily. And then whenever that restriction has been lifted, you can go back into the app and just simply turn that back on. So kind of a nice to have if you've got kids that maybe their privileges come and go. A couple of other things with the app: you can do speed tests, and you can also manage data usage. And the last one that I really like is Circle with Disney. So Netgear has partnered with Disney, and with the Circle Disney app, which is actually a separate application, you kind of get a lot of control, extra control around how certain devices are being used. And there are two different options for how you can use that Circle with Disney. There's a basic package, which is free, and that lets you do things such as cutting off that internet connection temporarily. You can set up filters, you can set up ad blocking, and you can even view history. And the second option is their premium package, which is $4.99 a month. And with that, you do get a little bit more as far as capabilities, such as setting up time limits, setting bedtimes or off times, and viewing usage. So for me, the basic package is enough. My daughter is, she's not exactly a heavy user on her iPad, so we haven't yet got to the point where I need to set up additional restrictions, but as she becomes a little older, that might change, unfortunately. But for now, the basic package has been enough, and it is handy to have. That is supported through other Netgear products. It's not just the Orbi, but the fact that that one is here is just another nice little advantage for you. The second great feature, in my opinion, with the Netgear Orbi is single sign-on. So the idea is, if you're moving around the house and you are at a point where your connection to the main router is no longer strong enough, then it will automatically flip to the satellite router if that signal is stronger. But the great thing is, you don't have to manage which one you're using. And some of those Wi-Fi extenders that I mentioned before, Some of those, the flipping between your main signal and the Wi-Fi extender signal, it's not always a very clean process. With this one, everything is handled by the Orbi system, so you don't have to worry if you're using or connecting to the right one. And again, that's just a more painless process, more seamless, and definitely something that I appreciate, having used other not as clean options in the past. So lastly, we'll talk about, of course, connection speed. That's really the main reason anyone's going to be buying the Netgear Orbi. And the first time I got this set up, as I mentioned before, within that application there is a speed test feature. I typically use other third-party apps, but regardless, when I first set this thing up, I thought, all right, let's run a quick test, see what happens. And I think I was at the time in our bedroom, which is about 30 feet away from our AT&T modem / router, and I was instantly getting 48 megabyte download speed, which our LAN connection is rated for 45, and I don't think I've ever gotten 48 megabytes download speed from anywhere other than maybe sitting on the couch, 5 feet away from that AT&T router. And since then, I've done a lot of additional testing. So inside the house, 45, 50 feet away from the router, with the Orbi, I'm getting consistently 30 to 40% faster connection. So that dead spot that my daughter previously had is now gone. And the same thing can be said for tests that I've run outside. So, from the backyard, from the driveway, there are locations in the yard where I'm now getting signals that I didn't even have before. And one great thing about that is I have the Arlo security system. So when I set that up, I was a little bit limited on where I could set up the cameras, simply because the Wi-Fi signal wasn't strong enough to reach everywhere around the house and the perimeter of the yard, etc. So now with Orbi and the stronger signal, I now have more options for kind of where I set that up. So you really do get a lot with that additional speed, depending on what applications or devices that you currently have. So closing thoughts, the RBK40 is rated for up to a 4,000 square foot house. The retail price is $349, but I have pretty consistently seen this priced at Amazon or maybe Walmart, places like that, for more in the $270, $280 range. And again, if you have battled Wi-Fi dead spots in your house or place of business, whatever the case may be, it's worth considering the Orbi, because I'm pretty sure you would have similar results to what I've had, and those dead spots would essentially be gone. And Netgear does have quite a few options. The RBK40 is certainly not the only one out there. They have options. They have one option that's actually rated a little bit lower, that's rated for a 3,500 square foot house. And they even have one that is rated for up to an 8,000 square foot house. And if I remember correctly, it has an additional satellite router. So regardless of how big your house or your property or your place of business is, more than likely Orbi or Netgear is going to have something that is rated high enough to have you covered. So that's my review. As always, I hope you found this useful. And if you have questions or comments, leave those below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys.